Is this provided electronically, this draft?
Yeah, sure. I can email that out to you. Yeah.
Okay. Is that it? Thank you guys for putting this together for us. I would encourage everybody in the next couple of weeks to go through this, read it. I think it'd probably do us all good to understand exactly what we're trying to do here. But, and then in a couple of weeks, we'll open it up for questions at the end of the meeting. And again, if anybody wants to bring anything forward. Yeah.
And if we could, sir, because I know we've talked about this one before, and I know that we owed it, owed getting that to you. And also because you're not taking any action today, I felt comfortable about putting it on the agenda, just handing it out essentially and having it as another item at the end. In the future, I think what we'll do is work with you to make sure that we've got it on the agenda. That way, if any members of the public are just curious about the process, they can see where it's at and have the opportunity to come in and speak. So I wanted to highlight that for the record, just so folks knew.
Okay. I guess we're adjourned. Thank you all.
Recording stopped. Recording in progress.
I'm going to. This is Abigail's last meeting, and I would like to thank her for working with us all this time. And also, would you introduce your replacement, please?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I am being replaced by Jenna Morgan, who is with the city already, but is taking on my position now. She's been with the city 3 to 4 years. Yeah.
Okay, welcome, Jenna. Also, Philip has a new staff member I believe he'd like to introduce at this point.
Yeah, as of last week, Samuel Dietz has joined the planning department. It's been a position we've had and had been having trouble filling for some time, and so we finally were able to fill it with Sam. So we've actually grown our department to give us a little bit more breathing room. So those of you on the Subdivision Advisory Committee have actually probably received some emails from him already. He's going to be learning subdivision and vacation items first. So you'll start seeing more and more of him and have him up here at the podium too. So we welcome Sam.
Welcome, Samuel. All right, our first case today is vacation item 2025-00015. It's a request to actually vacate an entire street.
Across the street.
Located between West 63rd Street South and West 71st Street South. Can we have a staff report?
Yes, sir.
Huh?
Good morning, Subdivision Committee.
No,
Philip
they let me keep
Siebenbergen
it.
for the
Former
record.
council
Vacation
member.
2515 is a
Lets me
request
in.
to vacate
It's like a fast
the
pass.
entirety of the South 359th Street West right-of-way between West 63rd and West 71st Streets South. This is a unplatted right-of-way, and your staff report goes into a discussion regarding the legalities of which state statute is followed regarding this vacation. Sedgwick County actually adopted Charter number 64, which chartered away from the Kansas state statute. And so I worked quite a bit with county legal on how this all works, but essentially your process and your role is the same. Charter 64 actually adopted, for lack of a better term, the same 3 findings for which we typically review vacations for, and that is reviewing to make sure notices were published at least 20 days prior to the hearing. The public will suffer no loss or inconvenience if the right-of-way is vacated, and no private rights will be injured or endangered if the right-of-way is vacated. So as there's usually a statement in your guys' staff reports, and then also when this goes to Planning Commission next week, those are the 3 things that are the findings that you are to consider when thinking about whether or not this vacation should have a recommendation to move forward to the Board of County Commissioners. Overall, again, the request is to vacate the entirety of the right-of-way. It is a township-maintained right-of-way. It is unplatted in the county. County Public Works and Fire do not have any objection to this. The stated purpose of this is to essentially bring it under private maintenance to maintain and possibly establish better wildlife habitat. Go to the aerial image, please. We have on the application the owner of these 3 quarter sections minus this corner. This is separately on property. That's one applicant, and then this quarter section here was the other applicant. So everybody but this property owner is on the application, and per the charter ordinance, you don't need everybody on the right of way. We have not heard opposition from this property owner. The agent for the applicant actually tried to reach out to Phillips Pipeline Company. They tried to reach out and try to get them in contact to see if they could actually make them part of the application, and my understanding is they even just had trouble reaching them. So we have not heard any opposition from them, and the charter ordinance does not require all property owners to be part of the application in order for it to move forward. But essentially, the 99% of the abutting property is represented by the application. If it is vacated, no property would be deprived of any access. All of these properties, including the Phillips Pipeline Company, have access off of either 63rd Street or 71st Street South. And if they choose to, if it gets vacated, they can maintain it as a private drive if they want to access their fields via this area here as a private drive. It would just no longer be potentially open to the public. They would be able to fence it off if they wanted to. As you guys received from me yesterday, we did get a letter from a nearby property owner. They own this piece of land right here. They do not abut the right of way. They are just nearby.
Present.
You have that
Maynard.
letter in front of you as well, stating concerns about essentially inconvenience of possibly
Dual
navigating
is
around to get to
absent
different
right now. I know he
farm
went to his
fields or
car.
just
Yes, he
navigating
grabbed
the
something, so
area
he'll be back.
of having to go
Bill
potentially
Johnson?
farther away or out of their way
Hi.
in order to
Present.
access the same
Nix.
places that they continue to access right now.
Is absent?
If this were to
Kluntz.
become private and potentially
Warren.
blocked off.
Present.
But that's the only thing
Joe
that we've
Johnson?
heard from this
Here.
at this point.
Miles is absent.
Again,
Zimmelman
Public Works
is
and Utilities
absent.
does not
Aldridge.
have any objection. There
Williams
are no
Bay.
franchise utilities out there,
Sir,
so
I
there's no
show
issues
3
regarding
members
franchise
are absent
utilities.
and 11 members
and
are
I can stand
present,
for any
including
questions.
Mr. Duel.
All right,
I
thank
have
you.
a question.
When
I
he
called this
comes in, we'll
street, but
change
I'm
the
not sure.
record
Is
to
this a
reflect.
paved street or
Next
is this
item
just
is
like a
approval
county
of the
road?
It's a
prior
county road,
MAPC
and we
meeting
worked
minutes
with
from
Public
May
Works regarding
8th.
the official
I show
classification
that
because
all
that
were present at that
determine
meeting.
what law you use, but it is officially
We have a
classified as a
motion
road.
to approve by
It is
Commissioner
gravel.
Joe Johnson with a second by
It is
Commissioner
a
Williams
two-way
Bay.
technically. I think it's
Let the
pretty
record
narrow.
reflect that Mr. Duell is
But
back
I think
in
that's one of the
attendance.
reasons is they,
So call
the
for a vote.
applicant in their
All in
information
favor?
in the
Say
application
aye.
said it is just very
All
little
opposed, say nay.
traffic day to day
Motion
anyway.
passes
Very
unanimously.
lightly used.
Next item, we will
regarding
review
day-to-day
the
traffic.
MAPC items and see which ones we can
Mr.
approve on consent.
I have a question about
The first one is
road
item
crossing the creek.
3.1,
Is that
vacation
a bridge there, or is that going through?
2025-14.
I
This is a
will defer to
vacation
the agent or
request in the county.
applicant. My understanding is
South
probably be a
Bedford
culvert
and East Bel
underneath
Air
it. I'm not sure
Avenue.
how much water
there
this has
anyone
in it
on the
all the
commission
time,
who
or
would
whether or
like
not
to hear
it's
this
just something
case?
that allows for water to pass.
Seeing
But I
none,
will
are there
defer
any
to the
members
agent
of
or
the
applicant.
public who would like to hear this
Daniel.
case?
Daniel Schrank with Sedgwick County Public Works.
Seeing
So
none,
that
we'll move
structure
item
is
3.1
technically
to
not
consent.
a bridge. It was on the bridge
Chairman, I
inventory
move we approve
a few years
3.1 as
ago.
presented.
But
All right, we have a motion
when
from
it
Commissioner
was under
Warren
just a
with
general
a second by
inspection, which we
Commissioner
do every
Williams
2
Bay
years
to
on all of our
approve.
bridge structures,
All in favor,
it
say
was
aye.
remeasured and it measured slightly
opposed,
smaller
please say
than
nay.
the required length to
Motion
be
passes
classified as a bridge. So
unanimously.
it's a very large
Now we'll
culvert,
hear,
but not a bridge.
we will review the conditional use items. 4.1, conditional
Any other questions?
2025-67.
Okay.
Conditional use for an
Thank you, Bill.
accessory
I'll call on
apartment
the applicant or
on
agent.
North Avenue,
Come forward.
North Indiana Avenue
You'll have 10 minutes.
and 8th
Please
Street
state your
North.
name and
Are there
address.
any members of the commission who would like to hear this case?
Good morning, I'm Bill Fox with Garber
Seeing none, are
Surveying
there any
Service.
members of the
We're
public who would
agent
like
for
to
the
hear this
applicant.
case?
Address 544 West Douglas, Wichita,
Seeing none, we'll move item
67203.
4.1 to
Just have a
consent.
couple other little
Item
minor
4.2 is
comments to
deferred
add.
from April
The county's
24th.
records show
This is
the
PUD
traffic count on this road is 1 to 2
2025-3.
cars per day.
Zone change in the
We
county
did
from
hear from
RR
the
to
township.
PUD
The township
for
maintains that
electric
road,
substation.
and they've said
West
when it
79th Street
rains,
South and South
maintenance
Seneca
is
Street.
difficult or almost impossible
Are there any
for
members of the
several months.
commission who would like to
So
hear
they're
this
happy
case?
to not have to deal with it anymore.
Seeing none, are there any members of the public who would like to hear this case? I'm seeing
And
a
there
couple
has
of hands
been
raised, so we will hear
some
item
illegal dumping
4.2.
goes on this road because there's so
Item
little
4.3
activity
is
there.
deferred to June
So,
12th.
Vacating
Item
that road would also
4.4 is
allow them
PUD
to fence it off and
2025-6.
put a stop to that illegal
A zone
dumping.
change in the city
And that's
from
all I have
GO to
in-
PUD.
Unless somebody has a
East
question.
Central Avenue
I have a question.
and North
Okay.
127th Street
to
East. Are
just
there any
till
members
this
of the
thing up and
commission
make
who
it
would
look
like
like
to hear this
the
case?
rest of the farmland, or are they going to try to
Seeing none, are there any
keep
members of the
halfway
public who would
maintaining
like to
it,
hear
or
this case?
what's
I
the
think
plan?
the
I see
owner
several
will
hands raised.
leave it there
Is
and
the
use it as
agent or
access to
applicant
the
present?
field when they need it.
Okay, good.
If
We
they
will
need
hear
it.
item 4.4.
But I'm
Item
pretty sure they will
4.5,
fence it off to
PUD
prevent,
2025-7, a
other
zone
people from
change
using it.
from B multifamily
And the
residential to PUD,
statement that they want
45th Street
they want
South
to expand
and
the
South Meridian
wildlife
Avenue.
refuge? What's
Are there any
what
members
is
of the
plan
commission
there?
who would
on the
like to
west
hear
side
this
of the road.
case?
The owner is developing that as a
Seeing none, are there
wetland.
any members of the public who would like to hear this case?
Okay. Other questions from
Okay, we will
Commissioners?
hear item 4.5
advisory
on
board
consent.
members?
Item
Daniel Schrank again with Sedgwick County
4.6,
Public
PUD
Works.
2025-8.
Vacating
Zone change
section
from
line roads
SF5
such as
to
this is
PUD,
something that we typically do
East
not
Lincoln and South
back and
Greenwich
support.
Road approximately.
In this case, we're
Are there any
we're
members of
not,
the commission who would like to hear this
for or
case?
against it. We're fine with whatever the
Seeing
decision
none,
is.
are there any members of the
But we
public
did
who would
meet
like
with
to
the
hear this
township, with the
case?
property owner, to get their opinion on it, because the
I'm
township
seeing
is,
none, we'll hear item
they take
4.6
care
on
of the maintenance
consent.
on this road, and they confirm
Item
that it is
4.7, staff
an
is
issue for them
recommending
to
denial, so
maintain
we
it.
will
It does
hear
get
Item
muddy and
4.7.
impassable at times.
Item
And so,
4.8 is
that's
Zone
our stance on this.
2025-19.
This is pretty
Zone
unusual
change
for us to
request
be
in the
okay
city
with
from
vacating a section
SF5
line
to
road, but that's
NR,
the
East
will
Central
of
Avenue in
everyone along the
Edgemore.
way that needs to approve
Are there
this.
any
I
members
don't
of the
think we will
commission
be
who
in
would like to
opposition
hear
it.
this case?
Thank you very much. That helps.
Seeing none, are there any members of the
other
public who would
questions?
like to hear this case?
Thank you, sir. Is there anyone from the
Seeing none,
public
we'll
that
move
would like
item
to speak on
4.8
this?
to consent.
No one? Okay. I'll bring it back to the commission members. I'll go ahead and make a motion that we approve this per the staff comments.
Second.
Okay. Motion by Zimbelman, seconded by Dool. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Passes 5-0. Our next case is another vacation, case 2025-00017. This is a request to vacate 50 feet of a 55-foot drainage easement to build a detached garage. And this is east of North 119th Street West. Address is 11518 West Kinney Street. Can we have a staff report?
Yes, sir. Again, Philip Zievenbergen for the record. And Vacation 2517 is vacation of a portion of a platted drainage easement. This is located at the property addressed 11518 West Kinney Street. If you go to the aerial image, please. The applicant's lot encompasses the drainage easement. So you can see here the typical size lots would almost be like the applicant on this, but essentially the drainage easement encompasses this area here. Half of the drainage easement is on the applicant's property, the other half of the drainage easement is on their neighbor's property. And so they're looking to vacate the portion that is on their lot. They actually have an exercised lot due to the drainage easement. You go to the site plan, please. You can see on here, here's their existing house. Here there are their lot lines, the drainage easements east of the house. They want to build a detached garage in this location. There are no public utilities in the easement. There's a platted 20-foot, no public utilities in the easement. There's a platted 20-foot utility easement along the north property line that is not part of this, and there's a sanitary sewer easement running along the south and east property lines. Those are also not part of this request. They are being retained. It is only for the 55-foot drainage easement on this lot. Public Works does not oppose the vacation with the conditions that the mentioned 10-foot and 20-foot utility easements retained. Again, that was not part of the application, but that's just for the record to say that those easements are staying in order for the public utilities that are in them. Fire and stormwater do not object to the request. Franchise utilities, Cox Kansas Gas have lines. Neither of them have lines or equipment in the vacation area, and they do not object. Evergy does not object to the vacation either, with the condition that the utility easements that were mentioned before remain. Again, they were not part of the application. We have not heard any public comment on this, and I can stand for any questions.
Okay, me again. Looking at this plat, they had two lots side by side that were 55-foot drainage easements.
If you go back to the aerial, please. The applicant's lot essentially is 1.5 times bigger than the standard lots. Like the applicant's lot is this, and it encompasses a 55-foot drainage easement. The full drainage easement is essentially here in between the two structures, but it's split in half between two different lots. So him and his neighbor have larger lots than everybody else because there's a drainage easement in the middle that essentially was not designated as a lot.
Right, I understand that, but if they had a 110-foot drainage easement, were they planning on some big-time water problems here?
I can't comment on that, but again, Stormwater reviewed the application to vacate this portion of the drainage easement, and they did not object.
Okay. Other questions? Advisory board, comments?
Joe Hickle, City Stormwater. The 55-foot easement's being reduced by 5 foot so we can protect the storm sewer that's on the other property to the east. And that'll give us an adequate easement width to work on that storm line if we have to. Otherwise, we wouldn't have as much room. So we wanted them to back off the 55-foot vacation to only 50 feet.
Okay,
Thank you for that clarification.
Other questions or comments? Okay. Is the applicant or agent available? Yes, come forward, please. State your name and address. You'll have 10 minutes.
Good morning. My name is Stephen Schwartz, owner applicant 11518 West Kinney Street. Reason we applied was pretty much covered through our speaker. Just to build a garage in the area. That's why we bought the property and did not know it had a stormwater easement on it. So took a video yesterday of the property with all the rain we had between, sorry, it was 2 days ago? Yes. And just to track where the water's going and if there's anything affected by the area where we would like to build a structure at, there is none. So I think it was pretty well covered, and that's all I have.
You are the owner of this property?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you agree with all the comments made by staff?
Yes.
Have you read them all?
Yep.
Okay. Any other questions for the, yes, Mr. Dewell?
Does that include reducing that from 55 to 50 feet?
Say that again.
Excuse me, does that include the staff or the comment to reduce that to 50 feet from 55 feet?
The initial easement was applied for just the 50 feet. So we left 5 foot on there for
Okay.
water.
Okay. Any other comments? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Anyone from the public would like to speak on this? Okay. Bring it back to the commissioners. What's your pleasure here?
Mr. Chair, I move to approve per staff comment.
We have a motion by Commissioner Klontz, a second by Commissioner Mader. Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you. Commissioner High. See, we're over here. I would have known that. See. They told me to move. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Passes 5-0. Our agenda item number 4 is another vacation case, 2025-00018. This is a request to vacate a 20-foot drainage and utility easement to build a new home. And this is East Laguna Circle, half a mile west of South 143rd Street. Can we have a staff report, please?
Yes, sir. Again, Philip Zievenbergen for the record. Vacation 2518 is a request to vacate a platted 20-foot drainage and utility easement located on the southeast line of Lot 6 and the northwest 10 feet of Lot 6, Block 1, Clear Creek 3rd Edition, being replatted into the Clear Creek 2nd Edition. The subject site is zoned single-family residential. It's currently vacant. There are no structures on it. The owner plans to combine lots 6, 7, and 8 in order to build a single-family dwelling. You want to go to the site plan, please? In order to accomplish this, they would not be able, go one more. They would not be able to build across that easement line. And so they have to vacate the easement in order to allow for construction of the home. There are no public utilities in the drainage easement. There's a platted 20-foot utility easement along the east property line and a 10-foot drainage and utility easement along the west property line. The easements are being retained. They're not part of the application. Wichita Stormwater has no objection to the vacation and notes that the storm sewers are planned to be rerouted. So essentially there was a plan to have storm sewer go through here. However, part of the construction plans will be to reroute those and put them in a different location, and City Stormwater is okay with that. Wichita Fire and Public Works and Utilities have no objection with the conditions that the Other easements that are on the property remain, which again, they were not part of the application. Evergy and Cox do not have any objection to the vacation, and they do not have any lines or equipment in the area. We have not heard any public comment on this one, and I can stand for any questions.
Okay. Questions from the commissioners? Seeing none. Comments from the advisory board? Seeing none. Oh, wait.
Yeah, Joe Hickle, City Stormwater. I just like to make a comment. When I first saw this, I was opposed to it and dug into it and then learned they're doing a redesign of the street and taking the stormwater in 2 locations around this 3-lot home. So everything is okay.
Yeah, it appears to be a much better solution than what they had. Thank you for that. Applicant or agent available? Please state your name and address. You'll have 10 minutes.
Eric Glover with Garver, 1995 Midfield Road, Wichita, 67209. I'm the agent for the applicant. Yeah, just to follow up what Philip had said, the owner of the property, it's actually the developer, is combining these lots, building their own personal home. And so the 3 rectangular lots that you see will be his, and we're adding easements to either end of those. So we're actually adding an additional easement, whereas there was 1 in the area before. I'll stand for any questions.
Okay. Questions from the commissioners? Comments from the advisory board? We already had one, so that's good.
Thank you.
Sir? Anyone from the public wish to speak on this? Okay. I'll bring it back to the commission.
I move we approve this application per staff comment.
Okay.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Mader, a second by Commissioner Dool. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Passed 5-0. Next case is a vacation item 2025-00019. And this is a request to vacate a pipeline easement and a 60-foot building setback, corner of West 81st Street North and North 55th Street West. Can we have the staff report, please?
Yes, again, good afternoon, good morning. Are we at afternoon yet? Philip Zevenbergen for the record. This is a county vacation of a pipeline easement that was dedicated by separate instrument and reflected on the plat. This is a request to vacate the 60-foot pipeline easement and the associated 60-foot setback away from the pipeline easement that was dedicated by miscellaneous book, page 435, page 153. And again, it was platted or reflected on the plat diagonally across lots 2, 3, and 4, block A of the KWH 3 addition. All property owners of these lots are party to the application. They came in together. The genesis of this application was they received a release from the pipeline company saying that they were releasing the easement. And so essentially the recorded document was going away, and this is just cleaning up the plat so that essentially all title work would be clean and that this would be finally taken care of and that the plat would reflect the release of the easement. All the property is in rural residential, and as you mentioned, they're on the north side of West 81st Street North and on the east side of North 55th Street West. This is west of Valley Center, and you can see they butt up against the floodway, Mitchell floodway. There are no public utilities. County Public Works and Fire and Stormwater do not object. There are no franchise utilities impacted by this as well. There has been no public comment against this. There was just some clarification with the applicants leading up to today's meeting. But other than that, we haven't heard anything, and I can stand for any questions.
So I was a little confused by this one. Is this a fairly new development?
I will defer to the applicant or agent.
Okay. Well, my question is
the plat was in 2024, so yeah, it was actually recently platted.
So are they trying to do away with the entire pipeline easement?
And the associated setback that would be away from it. And again, the impetus was they got a release provided to them by the pipeline company saying that they are abandoning and don't need it anymore. And so this allows them to take this encumbrance off their properties.
So all of the paperwork at the end signed by the pipeline company is releasing this entire thing.
That is correct. That was information they gave to us to say the pipeline recorded these documents releasing the easement. This is just cleaning it up off the plat.
Okay. Questions for staff? Comments from the advisory board? Okay. Applicant or agent available, please? State your name and address. You'll have 10 minutes.
Bill Fox, Garber Surveying, agent for the applicant, 544 West Douglas, Wichita, 67203. I think Philip covered this one, and I don't have anything to add, but I'm happy to answer questions.
Okay. Any questions for the agent? Advisory board comments? Thank you, sir. I'll make a motion that we approve this vacation with staff comments.
Second.
Okay.
Kirk Sponsor, Deputy County Councilor. If you could you open up for public comment just briefly?
Yes, I
Sorry.
could.
Thank you.
Very much. Is there anyone from the public that would like to speak on this? Let the record show 0. Okay, we have a motion by Zimbelman and a second by Mader. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Passes 5-0. Moving on to the plats. Our first one will be Subdivision 2025-00020. This was deferred from the April 17th, 25th subdivision meeting. It's a one-step final plat, 21st and 143rd Commercial Edition. It's in the county in the 3-mile ring. Can we have the staff report, please?
Yes, before I present, I should note that I did get comments from County Stormwater and says the drainage plan not approved. It has not been submitted for review. So with that, and given previous action by this committee regarding the drainage plan, since that hasn't been submitted, I would just ask if you want to go ahead and hear the case or defer it based on that the drainage plan has not been approved yet. So.
And this is Kirk Sponsor, Deputy County Councilor. Apologize to hop in. Under Section 5403E, it's actually a requirement that the drainage plan be submitted to the appropriate engineer prior to or at the time of submitting the final plat for the subdivision committee review. Based off of that clear, bright line, I would recommend either a deferral of this item with the consent of the applicant or an outright denial. So I would refer to the applicant on their preference before we go further. Thank you.
Okay. Would the applicant come forward, please?
I do not see anyone from Caw Valley here, so unless anyone comes forward.
Want to deny it or delay it?
I move we defer this until the applicant's ready.
Yes, let's hear from staff first.
If I could, sir, I'm going to defer to Kirk on this one because I think that with there being a shot clock involved.
And part of the background context, Scott, I do know that sometimes applicants do submit a waiver of the shot clock. Has any waiver been submitted in this case?
I haven't had any contact with any contact from the agent or the applicant regarding this. So,
was any consent on the prior deferral obtained from them at the time, at the last meeting?
I believe that they consented to deferral from the last meeting. So I can go back and check that.
Scott Wadle is correct that certain new laws have imposed duties and regulations on shot clock for the formal hearing and processing of these items. It would be a concern if we were to go outside the shot clock without the consent of the applicant, that it would potentially be approved at some point without further action by the MAPC. So at this time, without hearing more from Call Valley, I don't think it's inappropriate to potentially deny for not meeting the requirements of subdivision. Also, I do think another option would be to just to defer this item to the end of the agenda, see if anyone's able to contact the Call Valley Engineering, just to see if they are appearing, do want to make a comment.
Okay. Just, if we deny this, are they delayed another year, for a year then? They're not?
No.
No.
That's an excellent question. And no, that condition is with zoning cases. With a plat, they can just turn around and resubmit.
So they can just retry to get their act together and come back? Okay.
With that, I'd like to withdraw my motion and make a new one.
Okay.
I move that we deny this application.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Mader and a second by Commissioner Duell to deny this.
And is this based off of the discussions and the requirements under Section 5403E? Sure. Okay, just for record keeping purposes, I want to make sure our basis for the denial.
Yes.
All right, that the application is currently incomplete. Thank you, I appreciate it.
Okay. Any further discussion on this? Okay. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Passed 5-0.
Oh, and I have a question for council. I know that since it was denied, that we would have to send a letter to the applicant stating the reason for denial. What was the official statement for denial?
Yeah, that it was not consistent with Section 5-403E concerning the requirement that a drainage plan be submitted to the appropriate engineer prior to or at the time of submitting the final plat for subdivision review.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, our next case, are we ready? Okay. This will be subdivision 2025-00025. One-step final plat for Crestwood Landing Addition. It's located at the southwest corner of East 45th Street North and North Greenwich Road. It's in the county and it's in the 3-mile ring. Can we have the staff report, please?
Okay. Yep. I would also mention that I got comments from.
I'm gonna call timeout. I'm on the wrong page.
Crestwood, yeah.
I'm sorry.
I thought maybe my agenda was messed up. So yep, this should be on Young Edition.
We're gonna go to agenda item number 7 now. Subdivision 2025-00015.
Yep.
This is a one-step final plat for Young Second Edition. It's located at the southeast corner of East 29th Street North and North 127th Street. It's in the city. Can we have a staff report, please?
Greg Sharon, planning staff, presenting Young Second Edition. Next screen, please. This is a one-step final plat for 113-lot residential subdivision within the city. This property was annexed into the city recently in May. Next screen, please. And then the next screen. So the plat shows access controls along East 29th Street with 1 opening and access controls along North 127th Street with 2 openings. There is a street stub to propose unplatted property to the east of the subdivision off of the roundabout there. There are two waivers that will be needed. The first waiver requested is lot to depth for lots 21, 32, 69, Block A, and Lot 6, Block B. The second waiver is from Section 7201R, and this waiver is for streets with one entrance that exceed over 800 feet. So there are proposed Greenbrier Street, Lindsay Street, Rosemont Street are in excess of 800 feet and do not include the required emergency access easement. So the applicant is requesting a waiver from that. And since this is also public safety concern, the waiver will be contingent upon the approval of the city fire department. Go through staff comments. Public Works and Utilities requires petitions, acquisition fees. This is in Rural Water District number 5. So if the applicant wants or needs City of Wichita water, then the applicant needs to provide a right to serve from Rural Water District number 5. Need a petition and a letter of credit. And a buyout agreement. Water transmission fees are due. Petition for city water. Utility plan requested. 15-foot sanitary sewer is available to extend from south of the plat. Depending on phasing, a 12-inch water line may be needed to extend into the plat from 127th Street. No more than 6 fire hydrants on an unlooped 8-inch water line. Request for a 20-foot easement and request for access code for private streets. County Public Works states that the westernmost 30-foot access opening along 29th Street shown may be changed to 40 feet. They approve of access controls along West 29th Street. Request a driveway closure certificate and states that the preliminary plat, the 60-foot right-of-way shall be clearly shown. Item C, City Stormwater Management. I did get recent comment that a drainage plan has been approved by City Stormwater Management. City Fire states that the plat is not approved. Over 30 lots with only one entrance. They state that this was a different plat from the March 20th submission. Go through item E, traffic engineering. The first comment has been revised to traffic is fine with the connection to 29th Street for Young Second occurring with the next phase of this development, which will be east of this one and should have a connection to 29th. Traffic engineering recommends move openings to lots 83 and 84 to the east. Sidewalk connection to 29th between lots 67 and 68 and between lots 16 and 17. Streets with narrow right-of-way will need to be signed for no parking on both sides of the street. Item F, City Environmental Health standard comment regarding irrigation wells. Item G, Planning Department, joint access easements by separate document and some additional platters text to be added. Item H, the county surveying will comment directly to the agent. Item I, GIS approves of the street name. And item E, Evergy has reviewed the plat and will not need to request additional easements at this time. So with that, I'll stand for questions.
Are there any questions for staff? Okay, Advisory board comments? Okay. Call on the applicant or agent to come forward, please. Name and address and 10 minutes.
Morning, Phil Meyer with Boffman Company, agent for the applicant. 315 Ellis is our address. So what's on the screen in front of you here is the overall original sketch plat that was submitted for this. What we're asking you to approve today on the second edition is everything west of this line and west of the floodway, south of the collector street. So what's in front of you today is the second edition is a smaller phase than what is shown here on the screen. I asked staff to put the sketch plat on there so it helps explain and shows the subdivision committee and the advisory boards where we're ending up at the end of the day. I need to verify and ask Chief O'Cades if I think we're okay on his comment on D2 after we showed this, but I will need to verify that with him. 3 items for me. We're working with the Rural Water District now to release this. We plan on serving this with City of Wichita. It's a work in progress. Item A11 talks about some easements in the rear lot lines, and I would just like to be able to continue the communication with city engineering, and we'll work something out with Matt on where we place those easements at the end of the day. We're okay with the no parking signs on the collector street, the way we've designed this. And then I just need to verify with Chief O'Cades if he's okay letting this go forward. I think I'm pitch hitting for Chris Rose today. I think we agreed to give some emergency access that ease some of his concerns. With that, I'll stand and answer any questions you may have.
Okay. Waiver number 2, where does the fire department stand on that issue?
Jose O'Cades, Wichita Fire Department. As for waiver 2, we do approve waiver 2 with 800 foot as long as they're understanding that 26-foot wide area needs to be required around the hydrants. It's a normal comment. As for the agreement for the plat itself, I did receive a revised plat with the different phases that they plan on to develop. One thing that the agreement will be upon based that they agree that part of phase 1, a secondary fire apparatus access road will be designed for the phase 1 project. Because of the difference of phase 2, doesn't seem like that road would be accessible at that time. And there's already 57 lots part of the phase 1 project. So as long as agreement is phase 1, temporary fire apparatus access road would be designed for a secondary access, Wichita Fire will approve.
Okay.
We're in agreement with that.
In agreement with that?
Yes, sir.
And then I think you addressed D2, the 30 lots.
That emergency access easement that Chief O'Cades is requesting will solve D2.
Okay, you're okay with that?
Yes,
All right.
we will provide that.
Other questions for the applicant or agent?
Mr. Chair, I think he had a change to A11, and then was there one more under A that you had requested to
No, the rest were
change?
clarifications. The only one on A11, I would like the flexibility to work with engineering on final easement locations. We're trying to front load the sanitary sewer and not do rear easements, and we just need some more communication on that to make sure they're comfortable.
Okay.
Yes. Matt Schultz, City Engineering. Yeah, I don't have a problem working it out. They sent us a utility plan this week, and like Phil said, they're going to probably install a sewer in the front of the lots, and so a rear easement won't be needed. So we'll continue to work with them.
Okay.
So with that, you think you could reach that agreement before the next MAPC meeting?
Yeah, I think we can do that.
We're good with that.
All right. Other comments or questions? Okay. Thank you, Phil. Is anyone from the public like to speak on this? Seeing none, bring it back to the commissioners.
I'll make a motion to approve per staff comment, including the two waivers, and with the understanding that item A11 will be resolved by next week's meeting.
Okay. That was you? Okay. We have a motion by Commissioner Klontz, second by Commissioner High. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Passes 5-0. All right, staying on the same page. Item number 8 is a subdivision 2025-00021. It's a one-step final plat for Post Estates. It's located north along West 37th Street North and within a half mile of North 167th Street West. It's in the county and it's in the 3-mile ring. We have the staff report, please.
Good morning, Greg Sharon, here to present the Post Estates. This is a 3-lot residential subdivision within the county and also within 3 miles of the city of Wichita. Next screen, please. And next screen. So the lots will be accessed off of West 37th Street via a joint access easement. There is one waiver that is requested, and that is from depth lot ratio for Lot 1, Block A. Go through staff comments. MABCD memo has been issued for the subdivision. Item B, City Public Works and Utilities request no protest for water and sewer. Water transmission sewer main fees are due. Request a 20-foot utility easement on the west side of the plat, and a proposed 10-foot easement on the east side of plat to be increased to 15 feet. Item C, they have approved the drainage plan. They just need floodway reserve easement covenant and language included in the platter's text. And I just got a revised comment that they would like to see the revised plat before filing with the clerk right away. So I will send that to County Stormwater Management when I receive the final revised plat. Item D, County Fire plat will need to comply with service drive code, as well as this should probably be the 2024 International Fire Code instead of the 2018. Item E, County Public Works notes the existing drive connection at 1714 37th Street shall be served from the driveway serving this plat per service drive code requirements. Floodway reserve easements should be clarified. Minimum pad table shown as Lot 4, Block A, which does not exist. All lots shall be shown on the minimum pad table. States right away along 37th Street shall be 60 feet. Planning, item F, Planning Department comments. Plat does not meet the minimum 200-foot lot requirements, so recommend platting setback where the 200-foot can be established. Couple of platters text to be included, and also reminder that this plat is within the Wichita's 3 Mile Ring and the city signatures need to be included on the signature block. Item G, county surveying, states that the minimum pad elevation requirements on-site benchmark is required. Floodway reserve easement will need to be relocated, and advises the label for the floodplain reserve easement on Lot 2, Block A, be placed inside the easement. Item E, Evergy states that the plat is outside Evergy territory and no transmission is within the area. And item I, Sedgwick County Electric Co-op has reviewed the plat and will not need to request any additional easements. So with that, I will stand for questions.
Okay, any questions for staff? I'm just curious, on item A, it says MABC memo has been issued for this subdivision? What is the memo?
The memo just states that the building department approves that all the tests have been submitted and approved for irrigation wells and sanitary sewers.
Okay.
So it's just a memo that they sent that says the site has been approved or the subdivision has been approved for irrigation wells and sanitary sewer.
Okay, thank you. Comments from advisory board members? Okay, thank you. Applicant or agent? You know the drill. 10 minutes, name and address.
I think I remember it. Bill Fox, Garber Surveying, we're the agent for the applicant. Address is 544 West Douglas. I don't have anything to add to what Greg said, and we are in agreement with staff comments.
Okay. Questions for the agent? From staff or from the board? Questions from the advisory committee? Nope. Thank you, sir.
Yep.
Anyone from the public like to speak on this? Seeing none, I'll bring it back to the commission members for a vote.
Move approval per staff comments.
Does it include the waiver?
Yes.
Okay. Second. Okay. We have a motion and a second. A motion by Commissioner Dugal and a second by Commissioner Klontz. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Passes 5-0. Agenda item number 9 is subdivision 2025-00022. It's a one-step final plat, and I say this with a straight face, Squatting Dog Estates, located west along 119th Street West and a quarter mile north of West Maple Street. It's in the city. Can we have the staff report, please?
Good morning, Greg Sharon, here to present Squatting Dog Estates. This is a one-step final plat for a 2-lot residential subdivision within the city. Next screen, please. And then the next screen. The lots will be accessed via private drives located along North 119th Street West. There is one waiver requested, and that is depth to lot width ratio for Lot 2, Block A. Go through staff comments. Item A, Public Works and Utilities. Comments both lots. O, water distribution, ILOA, when the connection is made. Item B, drainage plan has been approved. Item C, city standard fire department request proper hydrant locations. Item D, traffic engineering states access off of 119 West must be identified to prevent these lots from becoming landlocked. Item E, standard comment regarding irrigation wells. Item F, Planning Department notes that the access controls should end at the end of the subdivision plat. States that the preliminary plat shows gravel drives crossing between lots, and just verification of whether those lots to be removed. If not, need to include some sort of appropriate easements. Should be shown and platted by separate instruments. Platters text additions need to be added. Additional platters text. Item G, county surveying just needs corrected to include Wichita on the plat, and state site benchmark west needs changed to east. And item H, Evergy has reviewed the plat and will not need to request additional easements at this time. So with that, I will stand for questions.
Okay. Questions from the commission members? None? Questions from the advisory board or comments? None? Thank you. Agent, come forward, please. One more time, name and address.
Bill Fox with Garber Surveying, agent for the applicant, 544 West Douglas.
Okay.
We have no objection to staff comments. We're in agreement with all the comments. That's all I've got for you.
Okay, any questions? Comments from advisory board? Okay. Thank you once again.
Yeah.
Anyone from the public like to speak on this? Okay. I'll make a motion that we approve per staff comments and waiver number 1.
Second.
Okay. Have a motion by Commissioner Zimbelman, second by Commissioner Mader. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Passes 5-0. Agenda item number 10 will be subdivision 2025-00023, one-step final plat for the Coes Acres addition. It's located northeast corner of the intersection of West 15th Street South and South 375th Street West. It's in the county. Staff report, please.
Good morning, Greg Sharon. I should start out by saying I got comments this morning from County Stormwater Management stating drainage plan has not been approved. They recommend deferral. The drainage plan was received yesterday at 5:40 p.m. from CED. Comments returned to CED at 7:24 p.m. Have not received a revised plan yet. So with that, given the recommend of deferral, I would ask if you want to hear the case or vote for deferral. The agent is here, and I think he would like to address some comments for that. So.
Kirk Sponsor, Deputy County Counselor. Slightly different from the prior case we previously heard. With that said, you have heard the recommendation and request of your staff. I think it's inferred with there that they're asking for more time to actually analyze the drainage plan and whether or not it actually fits within the county requirements. I would be interested in hearing what the applicant has to say before we continue further.
Okay. So you're recommending a deferral?
I would recommend we hear what the applicant has to say right now in terms of the submission of the drainage plan.
Okay. Applicant, would you want to come forward, and you'll have 10 minutes and state your name and address, please.
Yeah, good morning. Logan Mills with Certified Engineering Design, 1935 West Maple, agent for the applicant. As far as the staff comments goes, we're in agreement with those. I'll address the drainage plan items that we are in disagreement on. First of all, the drainage plan was originally submitted with the plat 2 weeks ago, or however many weeks ago when we originally sent everything in. So we didn't send it in yesterday, and we tried to revise it yesterday, the original drainage plan, and then that's what he's saying is not approved. So for context here, I'll try to work through some of these drainage items if that's okay. You guys may or may get bored with what I'm trying to tell you here, but I'd like the opportunity to do that. Our plat is 160 acres. It's basically a quarter section of ground. Our lot sizes range in anywhere from 7 to 29 acres, so this is a very large lot subdivision. There's three main issues with the problem with our drainage plan that Stormwater has a problem with. One is the terraces. There are farm terraces on this property across the west 4 lots only out of the 12 total lots. These lots on that west side range in size from 11 to 27 acres. So our preference was to leave the farm terrace responsibility to remove or keep them up to the property owners. We just think this is such a huge piece of land. It's a very big expense to try to take these farm terraces out, especially if you're really only building your house on 1 acre of the 27 that you own. So that's the first item. The second item is a concern about increase in runoff. Again, this is a very large lot subdivision. And so if we go back to my 1 acre of around 1 acre that these lots would be disturbing, that'd be a total of 12 acres of this 160, which again, in my opinion, as a drainage engineer, is not that cause for a concern. We don't think the increase in runoff is going to be there. In fact, if you look at a wheat field, which is what this is today, and you develop it into a housing development with 12 lots, it's going to actually decrease in runoff, in our opinion. So due to the nature of the grass slowing the water down that grows up. The third item, again, that we're in disagreement with is being required to build our private drive culverts to the 100-year event. In the stormwater manual, we're only required to do it to the 2-year event for residential areas. So a 100-year requirement provides a big expense on these property owners and the developer. So with that said, we believe some of these items are over and above what the drainage plan is requiring, or the drainage manual is requiring, so that so we're asking the stormwater to come down a little bit. So with that said, for sake of time, I've been asked to ask you guys to allow us to approve this, subject to us trying to work these out with Scott within the next week. If we cannot, then the plat will likely be, will fall through and we'll pull it. So with that being said, I'll stand for any other questions.
Okay, we were given a letter from the city of Cheney about this development. Have you read it?
No.
You haven't? They had a few items on there that you probably would want to look at. So,
and what does it reference?
Want me to give them?
And Kirk Sponsel, Deputy County Councilor, if I may, I think the question is more geared towards the drainage. Just for point of clarification, are you opposed to a deferral of the item today? I know your interest is that it be approved subject to working it out with Public Works. Are you opposed, or would you agree to a deferral in lieu of that?
Yeah, I think the original drainage plan as designed, if we can come down to that, is a simple, yes, this works. But if it's, hey, in my mind, if we're going to require all this extra stuff, then it's almost like, why even keep this moving forward is the approach we're taking. So as opposed to deferral, I guess if he needs more time to think about all these things, I guess we're not opposed to that.
Okay, thank you. And I know we went a little out of order of this, so if I may kind of like redirect us back to the steering process, I would recommend at this point, Greg Sharon give his presentation, and then I would recommend we give the applicant additional opportunity to speak after Greg gives his formal presentation. So we shift back to the formal flow of things at this point. Thank you.
Okay.
Good morning, Greg Sharon. Let me get my... Here to present the Coast Edition. Next screen, please. This is a 12-lot residential subdivision in the county. It is located within the city of Cheney area of influence. Next screen, please. And did get comments back from Cheney yesterday, a couple of days ago. And you should have a copy of that so you can read through that. Basically, they're just concerned about utilities connection and availability of water in that area. So nothing major. So you do have a copy of the letter from Cheney. There are no waivers requested by the applicant. Go through staff comments, MABCD. Since sewer and water not available, shall contact MABCD for a test, and a memo shall be obtained specifying approval. Item B, county stormwater management. We have talked about that comment already. Item C, Sedgwick County Fire. Plat will need to comply with Sedgwick County Service Drive Code, as well as the 2024 International Fire Code, and also issue that came up after the report had been written. So added comment that turnarounds and associated easements on access drives to be included on face of plat. So the county fire will need some turnarounds. I know that I saw a document that you shown those to county fire, but it looks like they weren't included as easements on the plat. So just make sure those are included. County Public Works approves of access controls along 15th Street. Complete access controls should be shown along north boundary of plat. Notes no utilities are shown. If needed, utility easements shall be separate from access easements. States the finer platter's text of the final plat. Remove Sedgwick County Department of Engineering and County Public Works does not regulate utility easements on private property. States that right-of-way along 15th Street shall be dimensioned. Driveway closure certificate is needed. And add on the face of plat which lots have access to each access easement. Planning Department comments, just revise street names with directional prefix and suffix to mention with the street dedication. On the preliminary plat, just need to include adjacent subdivisions or owners. County F. Item C, county surveying comments will be forwarded to the agent. And item G, Evergy has reviewed the plat and requests 20-foot utility easements. There are no streetlight locations at this county plat. So with that, I would stand for questions.
Okay, questions for staff? Comments from the advisory board? Okay, seeing none. Yes.
Yes, sir. Just a clarification question. Greg, Evergy requested 20-foot utility easements. Are those shown on the plat?
Those have been forwarded to the agent to be put on the plat.
Okay, so they've indicated they intend to put them on the plat?
Yeah, they will put them on the plat. Yep.
I do have a question for staff. The letter from Cheney points out a couple of things that they would like to see done. Now, how does that relate to what our staff has said? I mean,
Well, first off, for the purposes of the plat, if they meet the requirements of the subdivision regulations, then the plat is approved. Now, in terms of the review and comments that Cheney has given to you, I think what they've commented on is discussing their ability to serve or not serve the property. At this point, I guess I would advise that, again, according to our subdivision regulations, if it meets our regulations, your duty is to approve it. So who services it and how it's serviced, I think, is up to the individual and where they can get the utilities from.
Okay, Philip?
And one of the items regarding fire, it looks like they're asking that the turnarounds be indicated on the plat, which was a comment from County Fire as well. So it looks like they're in coordination or in agreement with County Fire that the required turnarounds are indicated on the plat.
Well, I guess what I'm asking is this additional reasons why this might need to be deferred? Did these just come up?
I think, Greg, you said you got these comments this morning or yesterday?
Yeah, it's dated June 3rd, so yeah, yesterday or a couple days before.
Yeah.
It should be noted that, there's a week turnaround when we send out plats. So, this hasn't been, they have to have an opportunity to forward through their department. So their comments might come in a little late. So in time for the report.
I'll defer to legal, but I think Scott, mentioned the appropriate thing of, the way the subdivision regulations are stated, if it essentially checks the boxes of the subdivision regulation, there's not much the planning commission or subdivision committee and planning commission can do, except for maybe in terms of safety. Correct me if I'm wrong, Kirk, but, Cheney can request, but you're not necessarily obligated.
Okay. Right. Ultimately, Philip stated accurately. Ultimately, the analysis is the application consistent or not with our own subdivision regulations? These ancillary concerns about impacts, they detract from the actual analysis sometimes. Now, the question is it consistent or not, are fair questions with our subdivision regs, but that's what the focus needs to be.
Okay. Seeing no other questions or comments, we'll call the agent back up. Is that what you want to do, Scott? Okay. Just state your name and address again, please, and you'll have 10 minutes, I guess.
Okay. Yeah. Logan Mills, 1930, or Certified Engineering Design, 1935 West Maple. Reading this letter, I see that from a water, sewer, and natural gas standpoint, we have the option to contact Cheney to have those utilities provided to us. The developer is not interested in those at this time, but we will take that and pocket it. As far as the access turnarounds, we'll work with them on what they're going to require for turnarounds. I'm sure that's part of their building permit process too. So with that being said, back to the drainage plan items again. We kind of feel like some of these items are overreaching on when comparing to the drainage manual that Sedgwick County has adopted. If that's going to be a requirement, then again, like I said, we will have to pull the plat, do something different due to the expense. So with that being said, again, our preference is that you approve it, subject to us working with stormwater, and hopefully we can come to an agreement within the next week before your meeting. If not, it would be pulled at that time. So.
Okay. What is your plan right now for water and sewer?
Wells and septics and lagoons.
Okay.
But certainly if some of these lot owners want to contact them in the future, having 27 acres, I guess it's up to them if they want to contact Cheney to have it extended.
Okay. If we gave you 2 more weeks, could you have most all of this cleaned up?
2 more weeks?
That would be the next planning commission meeting?
Yeah, I'm hoping to have it done before the next meeting, yeah.
I was like, planning commission is next week.
Next Thursday.
I believe the applicant's.
I'm sorry.
The applicant's request is to
2
approve.
more weeks subdivision meeting, yeah.
Oh, the next subdivision meeting?
Yeah, it'd be 2 weeks from today.
I think the subdivision meeting's on June 3rd, or June.
It's
or
Wednesday,
May,
the 18th.
July 3rd.
No, Wednesday, the 18th.
Oh.
We moved it to Wednesday because Thursday's the holiday. So
Yeah,
it's essentially 2 weeks.
2 weeks, we could probably do that, yeah.
So a deferral would be 2 weeks to the next subdivision meeting, or there's a request to approve it today, subject that they get it figured out by Planning Commission next week.
Okay. I would like some direction on what you think we ought to do with this.
If I could, sir, what I would advise is that you've heard from the applicant, you've heard planning staff provide comments about what County Public Works has said, but we've not heard from County Public Works. And I think if you provide them with an opportunity to provide their perspective, that could shed some light on the subject for you.
Daniel Schramm, Sedgwick County Public Works. So I think I would be in favor of deferring this. We have quite a difference on the drainage plan as far as where Logan is currently at with the drainage plan and our stormwater engineer. We are concerned based off of what we're looking at now. We are concerned with the arterial road, 15th Street. It currently does not overtop. The way that he is analyzing this, Scott Lindeback is analyzing this, is it would be overtopping based upon some of the backwater at these culverts. And so we need to figure out exactly where we are with that, because we're pretty far away with 15th Street, any grading that would be in the roadside ditch that would be required. And then also the terraces. We just want to be very clear with the terraces. I think Logan would prefer that the terraces stay, correct? And I think we're okay with that. Is that right?
Well, we'd like to give it up to the property owners, you know.
Okay.
Some of them might be in the way of their homes that they build. Obviously, we don't want a terrace right through a home. So I just don't want to make them remove a terrace that's on their back 20 acres somewhere that they're not even touching.
Right. So on the terraces, historically we have requested the terraces come out beforehand for a couple of reasons. One, when we have a plat, obviously there's a master drainage plan that goes along with this. The plat says that it shall be in compliance with the drainage plan. And so if the drainage plan shows that there are no terraces, and then we leave the terraces out there until somebody removes them in the future, obviously we're out of compliance with the drainage plan. Terraces can be large, and perhaps the developer doesn't want to move the terraces at this time and leave that up to the landowners. That's obviously a large task for individual property owners to know to move those terraces or to remove them. So if they are to remain, we would prefer that they are shown on the drainage plan as remaining and then protected so that they stay in place, because we do not want to have terraces out there, people build their homes, and then their neighbors remove terraces and change the flow of the water on the adjacent property owners. So I think we just need to make sure that the terraces are either shown on the drainage plan or not shown on the drainage plan, and that we are in compliance with the drainage plan generally.
Okay.
Yeah, if I could add on the terraces, I mean, your manual is mainly set up for small lot subdivisions, you know, so of course, if we're putting in quarter acre lot subdivision with houses everywhere, no question we'd want terraces out of there. But what we're trying to say is that given the nature of how this is set up with the large, huge 27 acre lot, or 7 to 27 acres, it's just a lot of room to spread out, you know, so.
Okay, well, I want to add an additional comment. These plats out in the county, once they get to the Planning Commission, we've been having real discussions about water wells. And now it's been brought up by Cheney just out of the blue. So I think if there's any way you can get water and even sewer, you should probably pursue that and see if you can. It may be too expensive to do it, but I think you will run into some pushback on all wells on all of these lots once it finally gets to the Planning Commission. So I'm going to suggest we defer this, but I can give you a choice. The planning commission meets next week, but well, it has to come through us anyway. So 2 weeks is what we can defer it, which would be this meeting 2 weeks from now. Is that okay with you?
Yeah, originally I was thinking it was July 3rd was the meeting, but I'm wrong on that, so.
Yeah, Scott.
Yeah, it's been said before, but just for everyone's clarity, just to say that the next subdivision meeting is on Wednesday, the 18th, and that is simply because the holiday on the 19th and our office is closed.
So you get 1 day less than 2 weeks.
Yeah, no, that should be fine.
Okay.
Kirk Sponsel, at some point, could you open this up for public comment as well?
You want me to ask for that too?
Yes, please. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anyone from the public would like to speak on this? All right, seeing none, I am going to make a motion that we defer this till June 18th. Is that what you said?
Second.
Okay. Motion by Commissioner Zimbelman, a second by Commissioner High. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Same. Passes 5-0. Gotta get organized here. We're up to agenda item number 11, subdivision 2025-00024. One-step final plat for S2 addition, located north along West 79th Street South and approximately a quarter mile west of South 215th Street West. It's in the county. Can we have the staff report, please?
Good morning, Greg Sharon, planning staff. Next screen, please. This is an 8-lot residential subdivision within Sedgwick County. Next screen, please. Next screen. There are complete access controls along West 79th Street with 3 openings. The lots will be accessed off of West 79th Street via joint access easements. There are no waivers requested by the applicant. Go through staff comments. Item A, MABCD. This is within Rural Water District number 4. Tests need to be conducted for on-site sewage. And I did get a comment from Rural Water District number 4 after the staff report was prepared and sent out. So I will read that comment. The Rural Water District number 4 organization would like the comment made to the developer and his agent that assuming that if groundwater wells will not produce adequate water for a domestic well, the developer or property owner will have to obtain private or public easement and pay for a water main extension project to bring water to the development location and also pay the water benefit unit fee, which ranges from $5,000 to $6,000 per meter. Item B, I did get a revised comment from County Stormwater Management this morning, just stating that the drainage plan for S2 addition is unavailable to be approved without a written covenant recorded with the subdivision plat. That specifies the following: who is responsible for construction of the proposed stormwater management facilities and when will they be constructed? At what point prior to sale of the lot? And B, who is responsible for the long-term maintenance of the subdivision plat stormwater management facilities? County Stormwater Management suggests that these issues should be addressed on the face of the plat as well as the recorded covenant. They also comment that comments were sent on May 23rd. Email has not been addressed, and County Stormwater Management would not approve the drainage plan until the comments have been addressed to the county satisfaction. Item C, county fire standard comment regarding service drive codes. Item D, County Public Works states that the west and center access openings are approved. The easternmost access opening does not meet county access management policy due to the adjacent driveway to the east. They approve of the right-of-way dedication and states that the subdivision plat clearly state that a drainage plan has been developed for subdivision and that all drainage easements, right-of-ways, reserves shall remain at established grades. Item E, Planning Department, street dedication needs to be included in platter's text. The FEMA floodplain platters text needed and minimum building pad elevations need to be included on the plat. Item F, county surveying advises dimensions needed along north line lots 1, 2, 3, and 4, block 1. Item G, Evergy notes that the plat is outside of Evergy territory and known transmission in or near the plat. And item H, Sedgwick County Electric Co-op has reviewed the plat and will not need to request additional easements at this time. So with that, I'll stand for questions.
Okay, questions for staff? Comments from the advisory board? Okay, call on the applicant or agent. Name and address and 10 minutes.
Bill Fox, Garber Surveying, 544 West Douglas, agent for the applicant. And we're in agreement with all the staff comments. And I don't have anything else for you.
What was your plan for water and sewer on this at this point?
Wells and septic.
Wells and septic?
Yeah.
Okay. Is there water available anywhere?
We are in a rural water district area, but they don't plan to use the rural water district, assuming wells are going to be okay. The tests are not done yet.
Okay. Other questions? Yes, County.
Dana Strand, Sedgwick County Public Works. Do you know if your engineer working on this project has addressed some of those comments on the drainage plan? It sounds like comments were sent back on May 23rd and we haven't heard back.
Yeah, they're working on that. And as far as the comments about adding to the platter's text, we're okay with all of those.
Very good. Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you, sir. Anyone from the public would like to address this? Nope. Okay, bring it back here. See what we want to do.
My problem is I'm confused.
Okay.
Again, is the drainage plan approved by everybody, or do we have an approved drainage plan, or do we not have an approved drainage plan?
Kirk Sponsel, Deputy County Counselor. My understanding on this case is that a deferral was not necessarily requested by Public Works. It's just the caveat that they would not sign off on it unless their requests were met in the future. Is that correct, Daniel?
Yes, so we received a drainage plan quite a while ago. It has been reviewed, it's been revised, it's been reviewed again, and we're waiting on those final smaller revisions to come through, as well as adding some language to the plat to make sure that the improvements get completed. But I think we're okay with moving forward with it, just understanding that the drainage plan has not been approved.
So Kirk Sponsel, we've had 3 drainage issues on county cases today. So just to walk through this a little bit and differentiate, This is unlike the first item, item number 2, because on item number 2, no drainage plan had been submitted whatsoever. Now, for the last county item, we heard it's also distinguishable because on the last county item, there were significant issues with the differences of opinion on the drainage plan that needed to be worked through, and there was a specific request from staff to defer the item. This item is distinguishable because there are, my understanding is, less issues to work through that are more minor in nature, and because of that, they're not necessarily requesting a deferral. So it's up to the board on your will, but this does sound like a situation where they could potentially approve, subject to ultimately County Public Works approval of the drainage plan, and you could send that to the MAPC at this time. So that it's unique that we're dealing with all these different situations in one sitting. So I just want to talk through, but this does sound a situation where we could potentially pursue that route. That route has been done in the past.
I should note that the comments I read, I got this morning from Scott, Stormwater Manager. And so I asked for clarification because one email stated that they weren't unable to approve without the covenant, but those covenants are usually submitted with the Mylar plat. So that would indicate that he did approve it, but then another comment that I got was comments in on May 23rd has not been addressed. And so I tried to get an answer before this meeting, but I have not heard back from him. So from the sounds of it, it sounds like that it has been approved or there's just some minor issues that need to be addressed. So.
Okay. Well, I'll entertain a motion here. I'll move that we approve this with the condition that the agent keeps working with stormwater management to get the drainage plan the way it needs to be.
And subject to other staff comments.
And staff comments, yes, sir.
Thank you.
I'll second that.
Okay. Motion by Commissioner Zimbelman, seconded by Commissioner Mader. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Passes 5-0. Where are we at? Okay, item number 12 on the agenda is Subdivision 2025-00025, one-step final plat on Crestwood Landing Addition. It's located on the southwest corner of East 45th Street North and North Greenwich Road. It's in the county 3-mile ring. Can we have the staff report?
Good morning, Greg Sharon, planning staff. Here to present Crestwood Landing Addition. This is in the county, but the applicant states that they will be submitting an application to annex into the city. So next screen, please. This one lot commercial subdivision in the county, requesting annexation into the city. It's currently zoned RR rural residential, and they will be submitting a zone change from RR rural residential to general commercial, GC. Approval of annexation will need prior to this plat being scheduled for city council review. Next screen, please. There are complete access controls are shown along East 45th Street and North Greenwich Road with a maximum of 5 access drives, with a maximum of 3 full turning movement access drives along each street. There are no waivers requested by the applicant. Go through staff comments. Item A, Public Works and Utilities request no protest for sewer. A 2-inch water line is available along Greenwich. 4-inch water line on East 47th Street is not available for connection. If the site wants a larger water main, then a request for a future water main for development is needed. If city sanitary sewer is requested, then a request for future sanitary sewer mains for development and water transmission and sewer main fees are due. Item B, County Public Works approves of the urban standard access controls along Greenwich Road. The second paragraph of the access control note shall be removed. Complete access control shall be shown for 400 feet to both south and west of the arterial intersection. Notes 45th Street has been annexed by the city of Bel Air and their access management policies shall be followed. States right-of-way width dimension needs to be labeled and a driveway closure certificate is needed. Item D, city stormwater management. Drainage plan was submitted on 5/20 and is in review process. And item D, received revised comment from County Stormwater Management this morning stating that County Stormwater Management provided drainage plans, comments to K.E. Miller on 5/23/25, have not received a revised drainage plan for review and comment, recommend deferral of the plat. Item E, City Fire Department advises the verification of hydrants. Item E, Traffic Engineering approves of access controls and right-of-way. Item G, Standard City Environmental Health comment regarding irrigation wells. Item H, Planning Department, since the property is owned GC and contains over 6 acres, community unit plan shall be established. And item I, County Public Surveying, change some name changes, benchmarks, and states that the 50 by 100 foot drainage easement on North Line of Plat will need to be located with respect to the plat boundary. And item J, Evergy has reviewed the plat and will not need to request additional easements. And so for that, I will stand for comments. And I also should note, I think, is this the plat that the Airport Authority has commented on? Yeah, I will let Philip.
I was like, we've got Nate Hinkle with the Wichita Airport Authority, and he can comment during the public comment period.
Could you say that again?
I'm sorry, I spoke quietly. We have Nate Hinkle in the audience, and he can provide a comment from the Wichita Airport Authority based on this plat's location to Jabbar Airport, but he can provide comment during the public comment period.
Okay. Any questions for the staff? Comments from the advisory board? Okay. Let's call upon the agent, please. You waited a long time today.
Yes.
State your name and address, and you'll have 10 minutes.
Kirk Miller, K.E. Miller Engineering, 117 East Louis. I believe the drainage city's review is approved, right, Joe, for the drainage?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. The sticking points we have with the county, we resubmitted and addressed their comments last week. And there were 3 items. One of them had to do with the way the ponds were discharged. I think we have addressed them adequately to satisfy county stormwater. One of them has to do with permitting around these ponds, with getting permits from DWR and FEMA and everybody else that's involved. And, these will actually be in the city. The city will make sure that we do that. They're more design issues than, I don't know if it was meant to be just a standard, you're going to have to do this type of thing, but we realize we are going to have to do that. And that'll be part of the development of the property, is we will go in and get all the necessary permitting for the development of the ponds. The other item was Scott wanted drainage easements like up through here from the pond on up, which, you know, if we put an easement in today, and then when this develops out, we'll have to come back and vacate those easements. I mean, we're not going to stop the water from flowing down there the way it does today, but when the development happens, you know, you may end up having storm sewer that runs through here, and then it's in the way of everything. We'll end up coming back and putting in new easements over some storm sewer to get the storm sewer through the property. But any easements we put on that property now will probably have to come back to you to be vacated. So we prefer not to do that if we don't have to. And I don't know if city stormwater has an issue with that or not. I did find out this morning that the airport wants these to be dry detention ponds. And I don't think we have any problem with that because, you know, with the bird strikes, that type of stuff, we understand we don't want to cause any problems out there with the airport. And they can address that too. But otherwise, I think we're fine with the staff comments and be glad to answer any questions.
Okay. Any questions from commissioners? Advisory board comments?
Daniel Schrein, Sedgwick County Public Works. I think in regards to the easements, I think we can work that out very shortly. And I'm of the opinion if this is being annexed into the city of Wichita, that I'd probably just defer to them whether they would like an easement there. So I think we can move forward from our end on the drainage plan.
Joe Hickle, City Stormwater. I think on the easement issue, it's best to defer it to the time of development, as Mr. Miller alluded to. I'd like to hear from the gentleman from the airport. And after that, I think we can get all of the engineers together and hammer out a solution to the drainage plan for these various issues. Because the airport matter right now, although would probably be easy to resolve, we'll have to change the drainage plan to accomplish that. Yes, Scott.
If I could, sir, I think now might be a good time to bring up staff from the airport, if you'd like to hear from them.
Okay. Is there any time limit on Scott? Just state your name and address, please.
Of course. Good morning. Nate Hinkle with the Wichita Airport Authority, Assistant Director and COO. Our airport authority address is 2173 Air Cargo Road. We are the operating entity of both Eisenhower and Jabara airports with a Jabara address of 3512 North Webb Road. Thanks for having me here this morning. I'd like to touch on a couple different points here. This is a great map to reference. The first thing I guess we'll consider is that this is adjacent to airport property. As you see, we have some property on the west side of that, and it is a tapering out that is aligned with the approach on our runway. So this is basically adjacent our runway, very close to low-flying aircraft. As we know, this is in an airport hazard zone, so we don't want to forget that. It's an increasingly busy airport out at Jabara with a lot of traffic from small business jets and flight training operations. So it's a very viable resource to the community, and make sure that we keep it that way. So with that comes with noise, low-level aircraft operations, things like that. So I just want to make sure we keep that in mind as we might have some new neighbors that take over this area. As we've been discussing right now, the drainage concerns or ponding, things like that. We see the reserves A and B here. We did meet with our wildlife biologist. We have contracted services through the USDA that we work with a certified wildlife biologist. The fact is there's little that we can do to control wildlife activity, especially birds, waterfowl, things like that.
So we absolutely do not want any kind of retention pond, any kind of standing water that stays there all the time. Could pose a significant hazard to aircraft with bird strikes. That could, especially at that low and slow altitude, could result in significant accidents. As far as stormwater collection for detention uses, where we simply collect overflow water and let that drain off in an appropriate manner in a short time, we don't have a problem with that. We realize that's necessary for any kind of work that we do out here, and especially as we might add pavement or change grading and things like that. There's going to be a need to mitigate stormwater. So we don't have a problem with anything that's a detention, but we absolutely do want to stay away from anything that is a retention. And I can discuss more on that later. The other issue is the height restriction. Right now there is a 25-foot height restriction from the FAA. It can be applied for to have higher structures in that area. The way the FAA works is they take a position on allowing things, and then they force us to mitigate those issues. And the only way to allow anything higher than 25 feet, especially on the western edge, may be to raise the approach minimums for flying aircraft, which could decrease the utilization of the airport and not allow aircraft to come in during lower weather events such as fog, things like that. So those would be a case-by-case situation based on where they're at within this area, but anything especially on the western edge could be an issue that we need to contend with for anything that's requested elevations of height over 25 feet. So with those two things, I'm happy to have any further discussion or questions from the airport's point of view.
I have a question. Has anyone from staff compared what his concerns were just are and what we're trying to approve?
Well, I think there's the two issues that were brought up that I heard was water and waterfowl was one, and then the second one is heights. Height is not something that's addressed as part of the plat, but I think it's very appropriate to mention it at this stage as often, as frequently as you can. That will be something that will be considered as part of the zoning, and there is a separate and related zoning case, active case, as part of this, so you will see that in the future. In terms of the drainage, I think what you've heard is that the applicant has indicated that they are willing and able to design it in a way that will address the airport's concerns and that there won't be standing water there long term. However, as part of that, city stormwater has indicated that there will have to be a redesign and that will have to be considered. It has not, and that this is a recent thing that came up in terms of this dialogue, and so I don't think that that's been fully vetted and completely worked out, and so they see the need for additional dialogue and time on that. But what I don't think I heard is that I don't think I heard a recommendation for a deferral of this one. I get the sense that they feel like it's something they can work out, and please correct me if I'm wrong on that one.
Thank you, Scott. Joe Hickle, City Stormwater. I think if we get all the engineers in a room together, we can bang this out prior to your meeting next week. So I would recommend approve pending correction of the drainage plan prior to the MAPC meeting next week.
I agree with that.
Any other questions or comments? Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anyone from the public wish to speak on this? See none, I guess I'll bring it back to the commission or the board, whatever it is.
I'll make a motion that we approve pending the stormwater and drainage issues per staff comment.
I was going to say, and subject to other staff comment as well. Is that incorporated? Thank you.
Okay. Okay. We have a motion by Commissioner Klontz and a second by Commissioner Mader. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? 5-0.
believe we've made it to our last item. Well, last case, I guess. Agenda item number 13 is subdivision 2025-00026, one-step final plat for the Provines addition. It's located at the southeast corner of West 9th Street North and North Tyler Road. It's in the city. Can we have the staff report?
Morning, Greg Sharon, planning staff, present Provines addition. Next screen, please. This is a one-step final plat for a two-lot residential subdivision in the city. Next screen, please. Next screen, please. The applicant has platted 10-foot side setback along the east line of Lot 2, which represents an adjustment of zoning code standard of 0 foot for the general office district. The subdivision regulations permit setback provisions be modified by the plat upon approval of the Planning Commission. There are no waivers requested by the applicant. Go through staff comments. Item A, both lots have access to water and sewer. As a condition of approval, the sanitary sewer line from 996 North Tyler will need to be relocated to pole portion of Lot 1. Item B, city stormwater management has approved the drainage plan. Item C, city fire standard comment regarding hydrants and apparatus roads. Item D, traffic engineering approves of right-of-way dedication and plat. Item E, city environmental health standard comment regarding irrigation wells. Item F, revision to platter's text. And I believe in traffic, can maybe verify this, that access controls are needed along North Tyler. Is that correct? And item G, county surveyor advises plat name needs to be corrected to Wichita. And item E, Evergy has reviewed the plat and will need to request additional easements and will not need to request additional easements at this time. So with that, I'll stand for questions.
Okay. Questions for staff? Comments from the advisory board members?
Lee Carmichael, Traffic Engineering. Complete access controls along North Tyler Road. That is correct. Since Tyler Road is an arterial roadway.
Okay. The agent will state his name and address.
Kirk
10
Miller.
minutes.
Kirk Miller, K.E. Miller Engineering, 117 East Lewis. We are fine with staff comments.
Okay. Questions for the agent? Comments from the advisory board?
Okay.
Thank you very much. Anyone from the public wish to speak on this? Okay. I'll move we accept this or approve this with staff comments. Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Zimmelman, second by Commissioner High. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Pass 5-0. We have a couple more items on the agenda. Item number 14-1 is a consent agenda for MAPC subdivision committee meetings. You want to take off on that, Scott?
Yeah, if I could, sir, if we could, if you're comfortable with it, if we could take both these items at the same time, I think
Sure.
they're so interrelated.
Sure, that's fine.
So what I would just comment is that previously we distributed the checklist, proposed checklist for the subdivision applications. And again, just for everyone's memory, the intent of those checklists is to ensure that we have all the materials that are necessary for a case to be considered. And I think it's really relevant that we're talking about this today with some of the cases that, discussions that happened earlier during this meeting. So those checklists were distributed, and I'm not aware of any additional feedback. I think we've got some from Abby, and Joe, you had some. I don't know if you're comfortable sharing those, just to let everyone know if they're, I don't know if it's anything significant, but we've not received a lot of comments on them, but I do want to check in with folks and see if there's anything additional. Joe, do you want to go ahead?
Yeah, I can look at them. One of the items on page 3 was about the drainage plan submittal. And we'd like to probably change that to be electronic in a PDF format. Final plat contents. I have a paragraph to read if you want me to.
No, that's okay.
A word here or there that would make it more clear. One item I do have that I'd like to suggest to you, and I think we heard it a lot today, and that is, how could the question be answered that annexation into the city of Wichita is planned, and then review authority be assigned to the appropriate staff, whether it be at the county and or at the city?
So that's a question that you're posing to us in terms of this checklist to determine where is the property going to be in the future? Are there plans for annexation? And then how do we make sure that we get it to the relevant staff?
Yeah, that's a good summary.
I don't know if there's anyone else that wanted to share. Abby, I know you had some comments, but it was, I think, really about inserting the word draft in there to make sure that we have concept or draft to more clearly identify what document was requested. It doesn't look like there's any additional comments. So, sir, one thought that I had, and I think this came up in prior discussions, is that I'm getting the sense that people are mostly comfortable with where we are with the checklist. At least there's no red flags coming up. So what I would like to ask is whether or not you think it would be helpful for staff to go and make a presentation perhaps to the Wichita Area Builders Association and any other stakeholders that you might identify to see what their feedback is and thoughts on the checklist.
Well, I can answer that. So the Developers Committee at the Builders Association actually has a few subcommittees. One of the subcommittees is this exact thing we're talking about, these plats, and they meet regularly. I'm not sure if it's monthly or whatever, but that would be the group that you would want to go talk to for sure, because what they're trying to do is get the developers and the agents and everybody on the same page, and that we'd like to, at some point when we come into this meeting, if you've got a plat that everybody agrees with, everybody on this side and everybody on this side, there's no reason to stand up here and spend 10 or 15 minutes talking about it. We can just consent, just like we would do at the Planning Commission. So that's what started all of this, is can we redo all of this to where, I tell you what they would like is on the very first page, instead of the items A, B, C, D, E, they would just like fire department approves, planning department approves, just one right after the other, and then put a little check by the box. And then if it comes close to when it's time for us to meet and they've got one or two of their items that they don't have, they can still work on that, because like we said, there's like a week between this goes out and we do this. And before we ever start the meeting, we could say, okay, we've got this and this and this, and you can check those boxes. And at that point, you might be complete and you can just consent. We won't even have to go through it. And then the ones that you don't, you just go through them and treat them like normal, like we did today. So there's two reasons: trying to speed up the meeting, and the second reason is to try to get developers and the agents and all to know what exactly you have to get consent. So where you don't have to come down here. I mean, if you know you're on the consent agenda, you're on it, and you're gonna, within the first 5 minutes of the meeting, you're gonna be approved. So, I think it would be an excellent idea for Scott or anybody from the planning department to go talk to him.
Okay. I'll certainly work on trying to schedule that. So there's a couple of things. In your comments, you indicated, some changes to the staff report. I think the consideration of that, we can probably do it in kind of a stepwise process. And I think that the first step is really getting the checklist and talking about the consent agenda. And then we can look at additional modifications to the staff report to what we've already done. So, and I'm just trying to throttle it a little bit and manage expectations just because of our workload as staff. And I want to make sure we get you quality products as we're going through it. So, what I would propose then is that the next step maybe would be, and if you're comfortable with this, is for me to schedule the presentation with WABA and any other stakeholders that you would identify if there's other groups you'd like us to go to, and then bring back that feedback to you. And in the meantime, we will also work on incorporating the comments that we've received so far, and then you'll have that at a future meeting. Now, and if you're comfortable with that process, one thing I'd like to suggest, though, is that we have a number of staff who will be gone, myself included, because at your next meeting, and part of that is because there's a holiday that week. And so if we could, I'd like to not have this topic on that agenda just because I think we all benefit from being present and being able to answer questions for you, having as many resources as possible. So it wouldn't be at your next meeting, but maybe we could plan on having an update at the meeting after that.
Yep. And I've already told him that's fine. I don't know if we need a vote on it or not, but.
No, sir, we just look to you as the chairperson for what should go on the agenda. So as long as you're comfortable with it.
Okay. Anything else anybody wants to bring up? Thank you all for being here. We appreciate it much.